Hubie gang. Hubie. Hubie, can people hear me? Hubie. Yeah, I like Hubie. Yeah, let me think about it. Yeah, I like Hubie. Okay. I don't know if I should treat this like a regular live stream and be real casual, or be like very much like, let's do it, let's get to it. Because this video will live on to be the one-stop shop for answers to every question. But it's kind of just one question over and over again. That's not true. Q&As are pretty cool. Let me just first say I'm sick. Okay. It's not COVID. I've tested, but I think I got a cold. And I'm feeling it. I'm not going to lie. I'm on Advil, cold, and sinus, and so I'm also feeling that. I'm just a little, yeah. I'm a little turned and twisted. But here's what I would like to do. So earlier in the week, I asked people on YouTube and on Kickstarter to leave me their questions. And then I was going to do a video answer those questions. So we've collected a bunch of questions, and now I'm going to go through them. I've got a document. So this is the thing. I think if you have questions as I go, maybe save those for the end. I was thinking of doing kind of a live Q&A with chat at the end, because as I go through this document, I feel like I need to focus on the document and not focus on chat. It's going to slow it down. That's right. It's official. I got a document. But I don't know. You can ask questions as I go, but I might miss them. So just know that at the end of this video, I will, maybe for 10 minutes, just focus on chat questions. Okay. Why don't we just dive in? Because I think most things are going to come about by working my way through this doc. Oh man, I should have had the doc printed or on a separate monitor. Okay, let's see. Oh, you know what I'll do? Sorry, I know people don't need to know the specifics. I'm going to move the doc into its own little window. And am I still live? I'm still live. Okay, so I'll move this, and I got my doc, and I can see chat. Oh, you know what? I think everything's going to be okay. Okay. Here we go. This is the, oh man, I was going to start with like the big question, but now I'm thinking I want to maybe go to some of the lighter ones first. 1 second. Okay. Let's start with the big one, right? Which is, why can't we give backers of the film a copy of the movie or a streaming link to the movie before the film gets distribution? Or furthermore, why couldn't we have sent copies of the film to backers prior to a Sundance premiere? Now, this is okay. I have assumed, I think, that maybe people understood how indie filmmaking and film distribution might work. And I think I was wrong to assume that everybody kind of understood some of the more nuanced or specifics to that process. I think I do need to focus on my doc and not quite look at chat yet. So sorry. Okay. So I have said in prior videos, if we had sent out the film to backers, that in essence, the movie would have died on the vine. It would have died. It would have only been for the Kickstarter backers, and that no distributor would then want it. And I thought that was enough of an explanation, but I think what I'm hearing from people is that they don't understand why. Why would sending it to backers hurt the film's chances big picture. So I'll explain it. If I sent the film to backers first, that in essence is distribution. I have just self-distributed. I have negated the the need for a distributor because I have self-distributed. I thought it was also kind of known that a lot of the films that have done Kickstarters, that they secure distribution deals and then the film is given to their backers. So if I told any I mean, we wouldn't have gotten into a film festival if I had sent it to the backers because it would have counted as a premiere. They ask you those questions and it devalues the potency of the product in the marketplace. If it's been shown to 2,000 people, 3,000 people, 5,000 people, 7,000 people. So I do apologize that the language around that was not clear. And I had dates on my Kickstarter that are now wrong. You know, you will have the film estimate by this time, and we are past that time. But I would say this, why are we past that time? Because the film has done better than even I expected. Like, all of these are good things. I think there was a part of me that when I ran the Kickstarter didn't think the movie would get done as soon as it got done and even have the choice of premiering at literally the most prestigious film festival in America and actually have a shot at like big picture distribution. I think, I don't know. When I ran the Kickstarter, maybe part of me was still thinking, you know, this is just about getting the Onyx movie done in case I have to retire the character. And I didn't think as far into the future as maybe I should have. But it's a good problem to have because the movie is doing really well. But that means I cannot give it to backers yet. And I know it sounds like a weird paradox because it's because of backers that the movie exists. But I would assume every backer wants the movie to go as far as it can possibly go. That was the purpose of, I thought, you know, kind of getting behind me as a filmmaker. If this movie was released to backers only and it, you know, removed any potential for a larger distribution deal, I would not get a chance to make another film. I would not have a chance to get representation in the industry. I would not be able to continue my career. And I felt like the vibe throughout the Kickstarter was a support of me as an artist and the big picture goal of like building a career with a creator that has not had a way forward out here outside of his own fans and his own supporters. And I think that is the vibe, though that is the majority of the vibe. But this is bringing up some other things, which is, well, I'll get to later. But I think that's the main mechanism to understand. If we had sent out links prior to a festival premiere, we would not have gotten into a festival. If we had sent out Blu-rays prior to securing a distribution deal, we would never get a distribution deal. And the purpose of the Kickstarter was to create a film, you know, and we have done that and done it very well, if I say so myself. Does that explain enough? I don't know. Maybe I'll check chat now. Does that make sense? I mean, we really, and my producers like really moved and grooved and got this thing done so fast that I think maybe this is also worth explaining. Like, well, no, I think I'll get to that when we talk about other stuff. Okay. So, oh, and you should know that in talking about distribution, all of these screener links and Blu-ray copies and VHS copies are known to any distributor that we're talking to. So like they know it is partially crowdfunded. They know that I owe backers this many copies of a Blu-ray, this many copies of a VHS, and this many copies of a streamer link. So do not worry, that will not get lost in securing a bigger distribution deal. Hope that makes sense. Oh my gosh, this stream's going to be 2 hours long, and that's okay. Okay. Will, here's another question. This is not as deep of a question or as hard of a question to unpack. But, let me just explain that. When a festival asks you to premiere at their festival, they ask you how many people have seen this movie. I mean, they care about cast and crew screenings. They care about have 900 people seen it, have 50 people sat in a room and watched it. You know, it matters. Okay. Somebody asked if the live streams will continue. And yes, they will. We have had so much. Oh yeah. I mean, at our cast and crew saw the movie for the first time at Sundance, you know, just to like give it a little bit of perspective. Okay, Ken, you've got a question. What if no distributor is secured? The only answer I can have to that question is we will secure distribution. We will secure distribution. Like I could go off on theoreticals about what would happen if we don't, but I think that's a separate video because I have confidence we will secure distribution. It's not necessarily a theoretical that's worth investigating right now. Yes, streams will continue after the Sundance of it all in an absolutely fantastic way has brought about a lot of interest in other scripts, interest in me getting representation. There's been a lot of work to do getting back from Sundance and a lot of like regrounding that has needed to happen of just like, okay, Onyx is done. It's moving onto the festival circuit. You know, there was a lot of just like recalibrating that needed to happen. And I am like, honestly, focusing now on the Kickstarter. That's what's been happening. I mean, since getting back from Sundance, I got all the comic books printed. We got all the toys delivered, the vinyls. That's the boxes behind me. You know, every fez, every fez and every sticker and every poster, it's all here. And so I have been reorganizing the garage to make sense for the Kickstarter. Okay. So I wrote some questions at the top of my doc, and I'm trying to decide if I want to talk about them. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here's a great question. If we got the movie as a reward, but we also got other physical rewards, will all of our rewards be held until the movie is shipped to us? Great question. The answer is no, because we cannot send Blu-rays, VHS, and streaming links until our distributor, prospective distributor, approves. If I wasn't clear before, you will not get a copy of the film until our distributor approves. The timeline for that is a question mark because we are working toward distribution actively. And I don't want to throw out a month or a date like I did in the past. All I can say is it will be up to the distributor. They are aware of the numbers. They know about my backers. They know about every copy of the Blu-ray that's owed. This is Pumpkinhead, not my movie. But it's a good example of a cool Blu-ray. They know, and the physical movie will be sent, and the streaming links will get to you after the discussions with our distributor, possible distributor, are closed, and they have a plan. And then I'll be able to make another video that says, the Onyx film has distribution, and here's when you, as a backer, will get the film. But yes, it has to come after It has to come after distribution. But it is not indefinite, because the film will be distributed and people will get the movie once our distributor has distributed our film. Okay. Also, this is important to state. There are investors in this film outside of the money that we raised through Kickstarter. And that's an important thing for everybody to know. The backers are my ride or dies. Obviously, I have the number of backers tattooed on my arm. But sometimes I see an energy on the Kickstarter that is, in a beautiful way, taking ownership over the film. It was not possible without the backers. But an important part of this puzzle to understand is I have investors. A backer might have put in, $150 to support the film, and I appreciate every penny of that. But I have investors that have put in, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I have the only way this movie will secure distribution and will make investors back money or make the production team whole is through giving it the best shot and the best chance at a solid distribution deal. So I think that's a piece to the puzzle that maybe people don't understand. And again, that might be my fault. But there are investors in the film outside of the backers that helped us get truly to the budget that we needed to make this film kick all of the ass it could kick. And I owe those people a lot, you know. I owe those people the best shot possible at making their money back. The backers, I feel like our agreement is, and I'm not to sound weird and defensive, but when I back a Kickstarter, it says you're pledging an artistic project. Rewards are not guaranteed. Now everybody's going to get their rewards, but I do want people to understand the agreement with the backers is you submitted the creation of a film. Now, I don't see the rewards as an afterthought. They're all here. But the movie was the thing. That was the thing. That is what I owed backers, the creation of the film. And I have done that with fucking flying colors. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's where my head's at. So then when I get messages about the rewards, and it makes me feel like I failed all of you somehow, I think, but my commitment was to make a film, and I did it in under 2 years. And in under a year from shooting the film, we premiered at Sundance. Oh, like, that's the thing. And that was always the thing. That was even the agreement between me and the backers. The Kickstarter was not to create toys. The Kickstarter was not to create stickers. The Kickstarter was to create a film, and we did it. All right, sorry. Cold medicine, coffee, a bit of agitation, sure. Okay. But all that to say, we are getting your rewards, and we are going to try to make money back for our investors, and the movie kicks ass, and we are in such a good spot. People are asking about budget. I cannot release the budget. I cannot release the budget. That's got to be information that's only known to we got a little OTD in chat. That's information that has to stay with us and the sales agents and everything. You know what I mean? Hey, and here's another thing. And I don't want to harp on the things that are making me frustrated, but Darren, you're saying I haven't given updates for months. I have. A frustration for me is I will update weekly on my YouTube channel, and then I will make a video for Kickstarter that says go to my YouTube channel, and then I will make an update video on Kickstarter. And I still get messages that say I'm not updating people. I mean, I can only put so much content in so many places. If people are missing it, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. But I will say to you, Darren, that you are factually wrong. And that I did not go months without an update when I've been doing weekly live streams. Okay. So, okay. Okay. Another question I get is, I said a while ago that I sent out sticker packs, and people will message me and say, I didn't get my sticker pack. And then I look at their pledge, and their pledge says they didn't get a sticker pack. So I've explained this a bunch of times, but if you remember when we ran the Kickstarter, there were tiered rewards that said, and you get everything below this. Think of it as two columns. There are tiered rewards, and there are only. So you could have the option to do the Blu-ray only. And if you chose Blu-ray only, you didn't also get what was beneath that Blu-ray tier. You got the Blu-ray only. So sticker packs only was a tier. It was an only tier. It was not in the levels of rewards. So the sticker pack only tier is what I've sent out. If you pledged sticker pack only, you should have them by now. Stickers that come with your other tiers, like your t-shirts come with a sticker, the I Don't Know Club comes with a sticker, etc. That's not being sent yet. That will be sent out when your physical rewards are sent out. Does that make sense? I feel like I've explained that, but I think it obviously bears repeating. One second. Okay. When will physical rewards be going out? Here is what I'm saying to that. This summer. Okay? I'm being purposefully vague because I want to avoid what I've encountered over these past few months of saying, October of this year or this. For anybody that's just joining, we're doing Q&A from the chat later. I'm doing Q&A from a doc right now. So if you have questions, maybe save them for the end of this 5-hour live stream. Okay. This summer, we are shipping physical rewards. I've already showed you guys, I have everything. I've made a video where I'm at the storage unit showing every physical reward has been made. Every physical reward has been made and is in my possession. I have bins and bins of t-shirts. I've shown it before. If you missed that video, go back to the Kickstarter updates, scroll down. It's there. Okay. Is your team doing any further edits from Sundance to distribution? Any conversations we have with distributors, no one has brought up altering the film in any way. So all I can say to that is, no, we do not plan on altering the film in any way. What happens between festival and distribution is you have to dig into everything on the legal side. Do we have the rights to this music, to this? We might have had a festival license for this song. Do we need a proper in perpetuity all media license, et cetera, et cetera? We're digging into all of that right now, but no one has requested edits be made to the film that we have been talking to. And as far as this question goes on to ask, what about like a trailer? That would come down to the marketing department of this distributor. So another question in my doc is, why no trailer? Why no trailer? Because any distributor is going to want to have control over how the film is presented to an audience. You got one shot to take a film out into the world. I might cut a trailer on my own that's, that makes me laugh, that somebody in a marketing department may say, really funny, dude, but you know what? If we used this music instead, or these titles instead, or restructured it this way, it's actually going to hit the demographic we're aiming for a lot better. You want that stuff to come from the distributor. Anyone that's been attracted to the film from the distribution side loves that it's so homegrown and that it comes out of this character that I've done for 10 years. And they want my opinion. And they want my creative take. But, you got to be practical. And I would rather the film be successful than like me personally be the one to cut the trailer. So I trust the people that we have spoken with, and I trust the marketing departments that we would then be linked up with to handle all of that. Also, to go back to that question of opening the film back up for edits. Also, people need to understand, if you change anything in the movie, at this point, you're going back into sound design, which means time on the stage at a mix stage. Literally changing one thing at this point would cost over $10,000. If you change anything visually, you're going back into color. That's easily $5,000 to $10,000 minimal. So changing anything right now would also require it would require so much. I don't see a distributor wanting much to change. Okay, this person said, first of all, congrats on finishing the film and getting into Sundance. For a question, if we ordered a lobby card from Big Cartel, when would they ship out? The summer. I'm going to be getting prints made for most festivals that are like this, where they're exclusive to the festival, and there's only a handful made, either to give out personally at that festival or sell on the Big Cartel store. And they will go out. These will go out over the summer. If it's for a festival that's later, obviously it won't go out over the summer. It'll go out later than the summer. Like if it's for a festival that we have in June or whatever. Okay. This question is going to come up a lot, so I probably will start to, but this question is, when should I expect my rewards? Yeah. And then they go on to ask, like, what's the best way to reach out and contact you to make sure things are corrected if anything is wrong or missing? So what I'm going to do, once we get everything shipped, and from my perspective, in my little backer document, everything is there and gone to the backer, I will make an announcement for an email address that I have not started. So there is no email address yet, but I will make I'll make a email address that's something having to do with Kickstarter questions or Kickstarter complaints. And I will brand that email address on all of my platforms. And I will make a video that says, every reward has been shipped. Now, if you have a complaint or are missing anything, email this. And that's how we'll deal with, like, I'm missing this, or you sent me the wrong sticker, or I got my keychain was broken. So that'll come later. Do we have an expected release date? And will there be multiple ways to view the film? Again, we're working toward a distribution deal. There is no expected release date. And I will say, I'm hoping a distribution deal will involve multiple ways to watch the film. I'm hoping. The conversations we're having right now are very exciting. I'll put it that way. They are very encouraging, and they instill a confidence in me that people will. Do you mind taking it upstairs? Oh, thank you. Sorry, some lunch. They're instilling a confidence in me that people will be able to find this film easily upon release. That's what I'll say. Some people are asking for a mega cut for backers. There is no mega cut. Everything we wanted in the film is in the film. Okay, now we're gonna have a fun question. What was your favorite part of this project? What were some challenges you faced that you didn't predict? And will Onyx encounter the Goat Man on Fletchertown Road? That's a reference to an older film of mine. My favorite part of this project was collaborating with talented people that inspire me and artists that I admire. And that is the truth. I almost always, the spark in me to create something is because of somebody that has inspired me. I want to write this idea for this person because they inspire me. I want to come up with an idea for that creature designer because they inspire me. Even down to Chogrin and even down to Nate. Like, they're the ones that give me the ideas. My illustrator, Che. That is the best part of the process. Is being inspired and kind of feeling that cyclical nature of inspiration to creation to completion. That is what excites me. The idea, and then the making of it, and then the holding it in your hand or seeing it on a screen. That's the best part. Okay. What are the odds of a Blu-ray release outside of the Kickstarter rewards or an add-on at some point? Our film being physically released will be through our distributor. I will not be, in essence, if I make any physical copies of the movie, I'm pirating my own movie. So the only way to get the Blu-ray is to have backed at that tier. And if that's the case, you'll be getting a Blu-ray from us, but it'll be the one that's made by our distributor. It'll just be that the Onyx team got it for you. But other than that, you'll have to wait until it's for purchase on Blu-ray. And this is a good thing. This is a good thing. It's a good thing that we're in conversation with possible distributors to make this movie real. You know what I mean? Make it a real thing. Make it a real thing. You helped bring it into creation, and it's going to be a real thing. And Sundance put their stamp of approval on it. A distributor is going to put their stamp of approval on it. It'll be a real movie. It'll be a movie. It'll be a released movie. That's a beautiful thing, that we made a real movie. And once the distributor has the rights to our film, I can't make the decisions like that. I can't just say, I'm going to burn a Blu-ray for this many people. And that's good. I hope you see that that's good. Okay. If one backed the VHS copy and then ordered the Ghoul version of the action figure, will they be shipped separately or together? It's a good question. And I've said it already, but I'll say it again. If you got the movie, that's coming later. But if you got any other physical reward, that's coming this summer, 2023. Okay? We will not hold all of your rewards while you wait for the physical movie, because I know people are already upset that they're having to wait for the physical movie, even though it's all because wonderful things are happening. What would you say in your previous experience is the best way to get a feature made and distributed? Making a short film first and then seek the funding? Or do you prefer Kickstarter? Well, those aren't mutually exclusive. Would love to know the pros and cons of both. And then they say, thanks, Cupcake King. That's also a reference to an old thing of mine. That's fun. I think make a short that's a proof of concept and then use that to kickstart the larger project. Oh, thank you. The
same?
Yeah. I think, yeah, I think you could, but make sure the short you make is actually communicating what would need to be communicated to instill the confidence in supporters. Thank you. That the feature will line up with that. For instance, if you were trying to kickstart a feature of a movie called Pumpkinhead, Maybe you don't need to make a short film showing what the narrative of that might be. If the focus of that movie is a creature effect, maybe just make a kick-ass short that showcases the design. Maybe you don't need a narrative short film. There are some features that would need a narrative short because your concept is something, maybe it's a high concept narrative. Like it's all told backwards, like Memento or whatever. But just make sure that your reason for making a short links directly to what people need to be impressed by in order to believe in the feature. Does that make sense? Because I feel like I've made some shorts that I think are proof of concepts. I made a good point. I made a short for Little Willie. It's a proof of concept for a feature. But when I wrote the feature, I wound up adding this protagonist character named Erika, who's actually a more important part of the story than anything I show in the short. The short shows the concept of a man slipping psychologically due to this past trauma and it manifesting in this doll. But when I wrote the feature, I realized, but the real hook is that it's a young horror fan that becomes the protagonist of the story as Adam becomes the villain. If I could have made Little Willie over again, I would have had Erika in the short. Now I feel like the short's not the best pitch for the feature. It's a conversation starter, but just make sure you're actually showcasing the elements that matter in the feature. Okay, are you planning a Kickstarter for the sequel? Are you planning a Kickstarter for the sequel? Somebody says, I watched the film on Sundance online, and I really want to support the next chapter in the OCU, the Onyx Cinematic Universe. I think I'm of two minds. I think it would be interesting if Onyx could find a home with a production company or studio that could really support another film or even a third film. I think that might be more, what's the word? I want his fate to be a little more secured. Crowdfunding, it might be that what I write for a sequel is too expensive to crowdfund. It might also mean that that we have to do the same exact path that we've done for the first film over again. And I'd like to see what it would be like if maybe Onyx had a home at a studio that could also support an animated project or a podcast with him. Do you know what I mean? Everything has to be kind of parsed out when we crowdfund. And I think it would be cool if Onyx found a home with some support that would maybe secure longevity a little more directly. Does that make sense? Right? Okay. Somebody said I would suggest that you go through each of the tiers and describe when and how each of the tier rewards will be delivered to the best of your knowledge. I don't think I have to go tier by tier because I think the statement remains the same. If you got the physical film or a streaming link of the film, that will be coming after we secure a distributor and a distribution deal. Any other physical reward this summer. Okay. So to answer your question, you should expect no, you shouldn't expect multiple packages unless you got a physical copy of the film and also t-shirts and stickers, etc., etc. Yeah. I'm reading through some stuff I wrote in the doc, but I think I've said a lot of this already. Yeah. Okay. It's also important to note, like, getting these physical rewards out. I mean, I'm not trying to like complain or say, woe is me, but it's a full-time job. And I am definitely committing my time this summer to that. I mean, I signed 500, signing like 500 8x10s took 2 days. And I have 5,000 to sign. I have to make 5,000 Onyx shout out videos. This is what I promised, and this is what I structured out as my reward. So I'm not complaining, but I think it's important for backers to get like a bird's eye view and understand the whole scope of the project. It was a very ambitious campaign with a lot of physical rewards and digital rewards. I did the sound last week for the Onyx cartoon, Onyx Goes to Hell. I don't even know how many backers remember that's a reward, because I think people focus on like their specific reward, and they aren't thinking about the fact that there are thousands of assets that have to be created. Again, my own doing, and I am doing it, but it's a lot. And I just need people to understand the speed that we got done the film, which is by definition the priority, even for backers. That's the promise. That is the promise. There are some Kickstarters that the promise is you will get a tabletop game once you finance the making of the tabletop game. Well, the creation, if people might not remember, but I didn't even include physical copies of the movie when I launched the campaign, because for me, the project was to create the film, and everyone wrote me and was like, oh, but we don't even get a copy. And I was like, oh shit. Well, yes, but I mean, a distributor is going to hopefully be a part of this conversation. And then I added those tiers, and I should have from the beginning not put a month on that, or put a month and year far into the future. And I think that would have set expectations better. I take ownership of that. I shouldn't have put a day and date for the physical copies of the film. But again, for me, it was the creation of the movie that was the promise, and we've done it. We did it in record time. I mean, I wish people that are creators know. I mean, holy moly, a year ago today, I wasn't even in Massachusetts to shoot the Onyx movie. Isn't that wild? And we've already premiered the film, the completed movie, the completed film. I think that's why I get so frustrated. I'll be vulnerable. The comments of con artist and scammer, they really hurt me. They hurt my human feelings, because the only promise was the creation of the film, and I fucking did it. And I did it in record time with a team of fucking wizards. I mean, I needed literal magicians to pull it off. And that's where all of my energy went. That's where all of my focus went, because that was the promise. And we knock it out of the park. And I still get a comment that says con artist. And I just think, like, did you want me to make a movie, or did you want me to sell you a t-shirt? And it hurts, dude, because I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing. And the movie was the promise. Okay. Somebody asked, what are the steps to making a feature film? I don't know if I can answer that in this live stream. That's a little too, that's big. I'm going to have to skip that question. A lot of people are saying, will it be showing in theaters, or will it be streaming on any particular platform? Again, that's up to the distributor. We are working nonstop on securing a distribution deal, and I won't know for some time. I've explained the sticker pack thing. I got another question about sticker packs. Stickers as a part of your other tier are different than sticker packs. Purchased a vinyl figure and a poster. When will that ship? Summer. Okay. Okay. Is it possible to change the sizes of the shirts you picked from the rewards? Okay. I would say this. We ordered all of the shirts already. They're ordered, and they were numbered based on your size and how many people needed that size as well. I wouldn't suggest changing anything now. I think wait until you get your rewards, and that's when we will do that email address that's like, blah, 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 Kickstarter rewards, then write me and be like, hey, Bows, I ordered a large, I need an extra large, or whatever. and then I'll figure out how to deal with that then, and then I'll know what I have left, you know what I mean, in my inventory, because we definitely ordered a little over for each size. But I wouldn't worry about changing sizes now. I think that's just gonna confuse things. I think let the rewards be sent out and then write me at this future email address that will be announced in the future. Somebody said I didn't back the Kickstarter and I missed seeing it online through Sundance. Is there anything I can do to see the film sooner? No, unless we get into more festivals and you're in a city where Onyx is playing at those festivals. And I do hope to play more festivals over the summer and maybe into the fall, you know, spooky season. So, yeah, I think you need to try to see it at a festival. You had mentioned in a prior video about rewards that have been sent out. What rewards have been sent out? Only sticker packs. Somebody says, of course, what do you do if they haven't been received? Only sticker packs have been sent out. Timeline for remaining rewards, summer. When will the items from the Fortuitous Films shop ship? Summer. Oh, this is a good question. Will you be submitting the film to the MPAA? If you're considering a theatrical release, what scale? Wide, limited, or a multi-date special event with a company like Fathom? Interesting question. I don't know if a distributor will want to rate the Onyx movie. I don't know. Maybe it will go through the MPAA. I don't know. That's up to the distributor. As far as if we get a theatrical release, we are hoping for a theatrical release. But size or scale or whether or not that will happen, that's up to the finalizing of a distribution deal, which we are actively working toward. What is the process between finishing a film and getting it to distribution? That's a big question. What makes a film feasible to be sold? Well, let me just approach this from one angle. I will say this. Have a lawyer on board from the beginning, which we did. So we know what in the film has to be cleared, both in regards to the visuals and to anything audio, music clearances, etc., talent releases, art releases. So having a lawyer on board from the beginning. I mean, our lawyer read my script and gave me advice on the script and what might be a problem legally. So as far as making your film feasible to be sold, I guess I would just say get a lawyer, an entertainment lawyer, on board soon. And then the next question is, has there been any progress on finding a distributor? And I would say that, yes, we are actively having the exact kind of conversations you, as a backer and hopefully fan, would hope that we're having. We are having the exact conversations that I think you would hope we'd be having right now. Oh, here's a tangential question. Do you plan on bringing back the Mystic Museum with OTD? Everything's on the table. I recently made a document of every idea I have that I think has potential to submit to a management company that has shown interest in me, and Mystic Museum is in there. There's a number of ideas that Olivia and I, like, you know, have worked on over the years that are in that doc. So I'd say, yeah. Here's a nice, chill question. How was the Sundance experience? Was the movie well received? Were all the beats hit with the audience? You know, it was an amazing experience. It really was. There were moments that were like, oh, this is what you picture as a filmmaker who has dreamt of this exact moment since maybe 94, maybe a little before 94, but definitely around the time of, you know, I remember hearing about Big Night and Clerks, and I remember going to the Blockbuster and renting movies because they had the Sundance laurel on it. So I've had that dream in my head since I was 11 or 12. And if anybody knows me, they know I've wanted to be in the entertainment industry since I was around 7 or 8. So to say surreal is an understatement. I mean, you're sitting at the director's brunch and Robert Redford's daughter is speaking out to the crowd saying, you are part of the Sundance 2023 storytelling tapestry, your voices, your vision. And you're sitting in a snow-laden dining hall at the Sundance Mountain Resort, and it hits. It really hits. And you look around at all the other filmmakers with tears in their eyes, all of them having the exact same journey you've had, that struggle of believing in yourself, believing in ideas, finding financing, finding collaborators, getting to a point and then getting knocked back down, getting further, knocked back down further, getting to another point, knocked down again. We've all been there, and everybody was just like letting it hit them. And there were moments like that, multiple moments like that over the course of those 10 days. Not least of which, obviously, was just the premiere at the Egyptian Theater where Blair Witch premiered. You know what I mean? And you're talking to the projectionist doing a tech check who was there when classic midnight movies premiered. So it was absolutely mind-blowing and wonderful. And seeing it with an audience was so interesting because there are some jokes that hit in every audience, every screening. That worked every time. Then there were jokes that hit with an audience at one screening, and at the next screening, nobody uttered even the smallest lull. I mean, like, it was interesting to see, but how can that work so well for one group of 200 people, but another group of 200 people, there's not so much as a snicker? So it was interesting. It gave me a really intimate experience with the film and with the material. You're living through it. It's very electric. And when somebody does laugh, you kind of try to see, like, who laughed at that? I want to see who thought that joke was funny. I want to see who wasn't afraid to laugh at the dirtiest joke in the movie. Yeah, it was great. And I would say the film worked the way we hoped. And the Q&As after were so encouraging. I had people coming up to me saying, I'd never heard of your character before. And I love this thing. I laughed the whole time. All ages. It really feels like it works, and it feels like it's as broad as I hoped. You know, there's this angle you can take on Onyx that says it's so niche because he makes a few jokes about Alf or Gadget Hackwrench. But I think if there's anything the internet has taught me over the years of doing this character is that he's very broad and can be celebrated and enjoyed by a large swath of people. Okay, somebody said I need tracking for the shipments. I because they're moving or they might miss the box that we send, et cetera, et cetera. I have a whole document of postage budget from a friend who's helping with the campaign. I don't know if there's tracking. I don't know if we, I don't know. I'm sorry. That's I got to take a mulligan on that question. I don't know if we'll have tracking. But hopefully that doesn't ignite a firestorm in chat. I just don't know. You know, we got to ship thousands of boxes. Yeah, again, my choice. It was my choice. Is there a way to still order a vinyl toy, or is it too late? You can, the toys are sold out. The ones that were for sale, the blue and the green, they're sold out. The traditional, which is the only way to get it, was through the Kickstarter. So yes, the toys are sold out. Do I plan on making Onyx merchandise after distribution? Of course, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Okay. All right. Moving on. With all the happy craziness you've been going through, with presenting the movie at Sundance, how is your headspace doing? How are you faring mentally? I am clearly doing wonderfully well. No, I am doing well. Truly, outside of, I don't think there's any part of this process that was an unforeseen stress, because it's stress. It's good stress, and that the stakes are high, so the stress is increased, but it's familiar stress. You know, getting a bad review at a festival kind of feels the same as getting a negative comment on YouTube. It's amplified, again, because the stakes are higher. But my life has kind of been about increasing stakes. That's what I find exciting. And so it doesn't feel like I got a negative review for my film at Sundance. What do I do? I'm spiraling and I'm losing sight of myself. It's more of like, I got a negative review for my film at Sundance. That reminds me of the time that person said, shut down the Kickstarter now. You're not going to reach your goal. Or the person that said, does this character still matter? I thought he was a meme from 2015. You know, all of that negativity it's always there in the artist. I'm not the type of person that shuts that out. I am more somebody that likes to look at it and confront it and process it. You know, it's not good to harp on it and to like marinate in it. Read a negative review once, see if anything that they said is actually kind of worth taking in. But if ultimately you can tell they just don't like your stuff, they just don't like Onyx, they just don't like your take, there's nothing more you can do with it. There's just nothing more you can do with it. What you can do is you can look for trends in the positive reviews and the negative reviews. I liked seeing that the positive reviews, which there were more positive than negative, they all complimented the world building. They complimented how I tempered the character and neutralized him when he needed to be brought down a little bit, and brought in an inclusive ensemble of equally interesting and eccentric characters. And those are the compliments I want for this movie. That is what I like about the movie. And you can draw a line with all the negative reviews. There is a similarity. They do not like Onyx. They do not like my sense of humor. That's immovable. You know what I mean? That I can't do anything about. Onyx is what he is. My interests are my interests. They are what they are. My inspirations are my inspirations. They are what they are. I made a thing shaped like this. And certain critics were like, I don't like things shaped like that. Okay, well, I'll take my thing over here. And I know enough at this stage, and have been a performer and a storyteller for this long, that I will find the people that like the shape of my thing. Does that make sense? I will find those people, and this project will find those people. Also, it really cracks me up. Side note, when there has been a negative review, they always say something that makes the movie sound cool to me. And that's when you know, oh, they just don't like what I like. Like somebody said, it's like a Nickelodeon movie with cuss words. And I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, sounds tight. It is very strategically that. Well, I would challenge them and say, what the fuck is a Nickelodeon movie? You talking about Harriet the Spy? Like the Nickelodeon movie is not a known archetype or subgenre, right? So there were better words to choose for that criticism, but I know what they mean. But it's exactly a Nickelodeon movie with cuss words. It's about a stunted man-child who's stuck where he was at 8 years old because of trauma. And the movie is about pulling him out of that into responsibility and into a more engaged, activated adult life. That's exactly what the movie's about. So that's a criticism that I was like, well, that kind of sounds cool. And that is exactly but it's because he's stuck in childhood, because that's where he comes from. But the other criticism that made me laugh was somebody said, this movie's full of like lowbrow humor. For example, this is the type of movie that thinks this line of dialogue is funny. The only thing that's ever touched my wee-wee is my never washed pair of Battle Cats underoos. I fucked it up, but that's a funny line. That's a funny line. And they quote it in the review. The only thing that's ever touched my wee-wee is my never washed pair of Battle Cats underoos. And I read it, and it genuinely made me laugh out loud because I thought it was funny when I wrote it. Anytime you can get a critic to repeat you and your character, you've won. Because it shows that Onyx annoyed them the way he annoys Bartok, the way he annoys Farah. Like, I don't know. It's a weird accomplishment. This TikToker gave us a really negative review, and she was like, yeah, there's a part of the movie where Onyx is just like, I got to take a big... I was like, it was even funny when she did it. Anyway, I don't even remember what that was in response to. Oh, how am I doing? Headspace. Good. I think, honestly, we're in a great spot. We're having the conversations that you would want us to be having. And there were some really, really touching milestones over the course of those 10 days. What advice would you give young Bowser, knowing what you know now that you wish you would have received earlier? Yeah, boy. I think just that. But I think I've also learned that the accomplishment is being regarded. The accomplishment is being considered at all, negative and positive. And that truly, the making of the thing is the accomplishment. And it now being up for consideration. What do you think of it? What do you think of it? How do you regard this? How do you regard this? That is the accomplishment. Do you want everybody to love your thing? Of course. Do I also kind of like some people hating my thing? Of course. But it's the offering and the response that is the accomplishment. It's not everybody loving it that is the accomplishment. And I learned that pretty early, but I think it would have been good to tell my younger self, because I think for a while I was like, but what could I make that would get everybody on board with me, that would make everybody think I am what I am in my head? And you can't. You can't. All you can do is make the thing that's in your head. That's it. And then after that, you know, not to compare myself to John Carpenter, but can you imagine how mad it must have driven him when he released The Thing and everybody shit on it? Everybody. Do you know how insane the artist must feel to live that life? And now 40 years later, hey, John, can you come to this legacy screening of The Thing? You know, that classic you made? That's why a guy like that has such a chip on his shoulder. He lived the life of scrutiny and of discreditation. You know, the critic doesn't have to live that life. The artist has to live that life, that constant scrutiny and criticism that we open ourselves up to. But he knew in 1982 that movie fucking ripped. He knew in 1982 that movie fucking ripped. And he had to live 40 years for everyone else to catch up. Listen to John Carpenter interviews. He really bristles when everybody says how much of a classic this was or how much of a masterpiece that was. And he says things like, yeah, cool, where were you in 1982? You know? Anyway. Okay. Do you plan to submit to other festivals internationally? Yes. We're submitting to a lot. I've probably submitted to 30 festivals. And you know what's funny? We've been turned down from some small ones. No problem. But I do think I thought premiering at a larger festival would secure us an invitation to smaller genre festivals. And it's not true. And that's fine. It's not true. That's a good lesson to learn. You know, you think like you get to a point where you're like, well, now everybody, just to what we were saying, now everybody will like me, will want my thing. Nope, not everybody. And that's their prerogative. And it's a beautiful thing to have prerogatives. Okay. Do you need an agent to represent a film? It helps. It helps. Yes. We didn't get an agency attached to the film until we were accepted into Sundance. So having an agent didn't matter in regards to getting into a festival that's a great marketplace. But once we were accepted, we very much attached a sales agent, to answer your question. Somebody again asked about, will you edit the film differently if distribution is acquired? There are no plans to change the film editorially. How can I contribute to future productions? Well, I don't know. There's a world where once the backers are happy, I would do another Kickstarter for maybe a short film with far less physical rewards, because I've learned that lesson. And I'm not being flippant. I'm being honest. I learned the lesson that the creation and distribution of that many physical rewards is daunting. Accomplishable, but daunting. But I'd want to make all of my backers whole with their rewards before doing another Kickstarter. And it probably wouldn't be for a feature. It would just be for a short if y'all still like the taste. You know what I mean? Oh, somebody said, how many other festivals have you entered? Yeah, probably about 30. We're on the last little chunk of questions, and then we'll take it to chat if people are still there. I moved the chat off my screen because I just wanted to focus on ranting about John Carpenter. Okay, somebody asked, address on Big Cartel. Do I need, if that changes for the things I've ordered through Big Cartel, which would be the toy or the Sundance poster, are they at all linked to the survey and the address on Kickstarter? No. That's a completely separate thing. Think of Big Cartel as my personal shop. Kickstarter is its own thing. Okay. Will the Onyx character continue to exist after this film, or will you retire the character? I think that comes down to how the film does. I would love to make more Onyx movies. I would love to make an Onyx TV show, an Onyx comic book, an Onyx animated show. I love Onyx and would continue to live in that skin for as long as the audience would want it. But I do think the film is a test in regards to whether or not the audience does want it at that level. And like I said, I'm all about that kind of heightening of stakes. And I want Onyx to do good at this level because I want to go bigger with him. And if the film doesn't do well or isn't received by an audience, I don't know what I'll do with Onyx. He might be retired, might be hanging up the old fedora. Okay. Somebody suggested me sending an email to individual backers with their address before I ship their rewards. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. Like physically, we have 7,493 backers. Out of those backers, most of them get a physical reward. I don't have the bandwidth for that. The surveys were sent. You can go in and you can change your information on your survey. I've made posts about how to do that. That's the information I'm going off of. I mean, that is the information I'm going off of. If you need to change anything about your address, you go into your Kickstarter account and you change your address. I'll put the information maybe in the description of this video yet again of how to change your address. When will I be filming the personalized shout outs? The summer. I'm probably going to start it next month in April. And I have 5,000 shout out videos to film. Hey, I did it. I did it to myself, but I just, want people to understand the scope. Maybe so there's a little grace, but not all the grace in the world, because I know people have been burned by Kickstarters, and there have been people that have promised things and never fulfilled them. But just know that's not my bag. I'm not going to do that to y'all. Everyone will get their rewards. But yeah, I mean, just think about like 5,000 shout out videos, all signing 5,000 8x10s, 5,000 posters, audio commentaries for my old videos, audio commentaries for 3 different films, The Crow, Fright Night, and Gremlins, I think is what we're doing, or maybe Pumpkinhead. 3 episodes of Friday Faves have to be made. Welcome to the Meat Hut video has to be shot and then, edited and composited because it's going to be on green screen. The Onyx cartoon, which I put on Instagram the other day, has to be sound designed. Their casting had to occur for voice talent in that Onyx animated cartoon. Let's just say all of this was necessary to create the kind of campaign that I felt like people wanted out of an Onyx campaign, but the post-production maintenance side of things on the back end is massive. Not your problem, my problem, but still worth stating. Okay. I think, well, okay. This is a good one to end on before we go to chat. Will the Blu-ray have special features? I can't say for sure. Why did I think this was a good question to end on if I don't have an answer? I can't say for sure, but I can say I hope so. We've got a lot of great behind the scenes stuff. There are 2 deleted scenes, only 2. And our awesome puppet team had a videographer for most of the shoot that was there. I mean, you know, we've got recorded audition tapes. We've got recorded Sundance announcements where we told our cast we got into that awesome festival. There's a lot that would make for a really great stacked Blu-ray. Whether or not that's what will happen, I don't know. What's on this Pumpkinhead Blu-ray? Anything special? Man, Pumpkinhead rocks, huh? Okay. Let me say this in the video, and then I'll put it in the description. You can change your address, but it is in a different spot than the video on Kickstarter shows you. First of all, you need to not do it on your phone. You need a PC or a laptop. You go to the Onyx Kickstarter page, and it should say you backed this project with view pledge or view survey near that link or as a drop down. I'm reading this. If you are on your computer, you can scroll up to see it. Oh, sorry. Okay, that's too specific. That's for somebody that was literally writing it in that moment. Anyway, you want to get to view survey, and then you can change your address from there. Okay, time to rip off the Band-Aid and go to chat. You're still here. I'm still here. How are we doing? Hour 12. That's not bad. Tyler. Good question. When are they offering me the Pumpkinhead remake? Well, I'll tell you what. First step is getting representation, which I'm making movement on. And literally, that's like the top of my list is I really want to make a Pumpkinhead movie. Oh, okay. Cosmic says, will the Shadow Zone storyline continue? And the answer is no, because that was owned by Nerdist. And I do think the movie starts a whole new world for Onyx. And I'd like to stick with the movie as canon. I think the movie is our world moving forward. How's the writing on the Onyx sequel going? Good. I'm halfway through, but I pivoted to rewrite some older scripts. And oh, this is a really good question. And so I'm working on those. Somebody said my name is not in the credits, or my name needs to be changed in the credits. This is a really good point. This is actually, okay. This is a good point. What I'm going to do is I need to screenshot the names that happen at the end of our film that show all of our backers. I'm going to post those screenshots to Kickstarter. And I'm going to ask that you message me on Kickstarter if your name is not in the credits or if it's misspelled. Okay. That's a good point. I need to write that down. Or if Jeremy's in chat, Jeremy, you could help me remember that, because that'll be coming back your way. But Kickstarter, that's great, because someone that watched it online at Sundance was like, "Hey, dude, my name wasn't in the credits." I'm like, okay. Okay. Backer names post. Ooh, my Admiral Cold and Sinus is wearing off. Okay. Any other questions related to what we've been talking about? So that means Pumpkinhead, The Thing, and the Onyx Kickstarter campaign. I'm going to skip questions that I answered in this video. Oh, drink my drink. That's funny. It's just been sitting here. But I still have coffee here. I mean, I guess I can switch, but I'm so Jeremy, I'm so jacked up on cold medicine that this is gonna be a problem. Somebody said, what would it mean for you as a writer and director to get representation? It simply means there's a team of people in the industry that also care about my work and getting me work. And literally, I'll be able to write a manager and say, hey, I've got a script. You know anybody in town that would want to make it? And they will reach out to different production companies and studios and producers and ask on my behalf instead of only me and Olivia caring about our ideas. What's your question, Olivia? Where'd it go? Where did it go? I lost it. I think it said, how cool is your best friend? Oh, yeah, there it is. How cool is your best friend? Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, the answer is very cool. Somebody, oh, and to follow OTD, how cool are your sisters? My sisters are very cool. My sisters are also very cool. Hunter, good question. If the sequel's not kickstarted, will it be open to investors? I mean, I would imagine any film is going to need investors unless it is properly a studio film. Any independent film, I should say, will require investors. So, you know, yeah, I would say if the sequel is an independent production, it would require investors. Will the backers only behind the scenes Instagram account or the content on it become public eventually? I don't know. We did a little Instagram account during the film production. I don't know if it will become public. Maybe. There's not like, we couldn't show a lot of spoilery things, but we showed some. I'd have to go back and look at that content. Thank you, Jared. It's been a rad ride. Thanks for bringing us along. And I also want to state, you know, I recognize that 90% of the backers and fans are nothing but positive and encouraging and edifying in a way that has really helped me and the whole team stay focused and on track. You know, when I get a little spicy about the negative messages I do receive, I just want to acknowledge, I know that's a small group. Overwhelmingly, the backers of this film are positive, encouraging, and understanding people. So I just want to recognize that. Yeah. I think I'll go until 3:30 and then call it. Beefy Bad Boy needs to be in the sequel. You know, right now there are no creatures from the original in the sequel. Yeah, I don't know. I have a thing. I think they're kind of like, they might be done. Kelly, this is a cool point. For what it's worth, Andrew and OTD have been the most engaged with the backers than a lot of bigger budget Kickstarters. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah, Weekly Geekly for sure. Email me about doing another interview. That'd be sick. Brian, okay, good question. There must be a reasonable time frame for getting distribution. It's not years away, right? Doesn't a movie get stale if you wait too long after a premiere? It's a really good question. And I would agree with you. I do think the movie is in such good shape. We had such a good premiere that distribution will be like big picture. I think coming sooner than later. I don't think that's why Ken, when I was like, well, it's not indefinite, because there's any of the parties we're talking to, no one is interested in like kicking this to 2025. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm writing down some other things to include in another post. Were there any references to Worm or Buddy in the movie? I think you probably mean Little Willie, right? Is that what you mean? Yeah, Little Willie is in the movie. He's a prop that you see in Bartok's office. And yeah. So yeah, there's some crossover, but I don't know if that would be literal, like if what happened to Little Willie happened in Onyx's world. I just think creatively for me, it's a little meta way to cross them over. Oh, it's all good. Yeah, Little Willie. Distribution, does that also mean streaming? Yeah, it would. We're best case scenario, it means, and this is not a sure thing, I'm saying best case scenario, what I would wish for, it would mean theatrical, streaming, and physical. That's what I would love. Hey, Macabre and Magic, I entered Onyx into Dead Center, so we will see. I love Oklahoma. I love Oklahoma City. I love the Dead Center Film Festival. They were so wonderful with my movie Worm. Darren, you think that Little Willie was a servant of Bartok? Yeah, that's well, you could argue that Bartok put a spell on that doll, and that's why it drove Adam. I don't remember my own character's last name. That's why it drove Adam a little batty. Adrian, good question, but I shouldn't talk about any specific buyers or specific distributors. Yeah, I can't respond to any specific questions about like who has shown interest or who we would like more than others as far as distribution, because there's still a lot on the table and a lot to discuss. That's all I can say. That's cool. Ray, you watched it through Sundance. Correct, Kelly. Got to obey the NDA. I'm sorry I'm so snotty and sniffly. Oh, blee. Would you put Vincent Dooley in an Onyx movie? I don't know. That might be a little too much bows for people. You know what I mean? Adam Castle. Thank you, Gio. That might be a little too much to go between, are you serious? To, huh? Yeah, I'm dead serious. That might be a lot. Rich, how many people watched it online? I don't know. Yeah. Hunter says, I imagine a deal has many moving parts, due diligence, chain of entitlement, etc., streaming, merch. How long could a potential deal take, just in terms of once they're agreed on to complete? Well, I guess the best way to answer that is like the way these deals go, or any legal agreement, is there's a term sheet. There's kind of the short form and the long form, and what you first negotiate is just the short form, the term sheet. That's where a lot of like the top line information is. From a distributor, they would say, okay, well, we let's agree to put it in this many theaters. It's okay that you have this many copies that you owe to your backers. Let's put that in the term sheet. It's all those kind of top line conversations. How much is expected from talent to be involved in marketing? How many days of press do you have to commit as talent? All I can say is I can't give you a timeline, but that term sheet can take many weeks, and then that long form can take many weeks. You know what I mean? Each could take between 6 to 8 weeks or more. But I think on an independent film level, you want to try to move through things, within like a 6 to 8 week time frame before people get to, you get kind of negotiation fatigue, right? And you start focusing on points, and you're just like, wait, why did I care about this thing? I don't remember. Well, what's this red line for? Oh, it's because you said that. Oh, I don't even really care about that. It's better to like move as quickly as you can through the process. And then, but then, Hunter, to your next question about investors and money in the short form, um, those are, think of it like our distribution agreement. Okay, so distributor A will have an agreement with Fortuitous Films. Fortuitous Films has the agreement with investors. So distributor doesn't really need to have eyes on our deal with investors. That's us and our investors, and our deal is with the distributor. And we just have to actively get the best deal possible on behalf of our investors and on behalf of Fortuitous Films. So those specifics are not in the short form, but our agreement between an investor and Fortuitous Films would be. And then, yeah. And in any agreement on a film, you basically have what's called a waterfall, which is it's an explainer as to how the money rolls out. Literally like how it trickles down. And that would also be something that's on us as the film company to have with our investors, not the distributor. Thank you, Hunter, for wishing us the best. Thank you. Gerard said, how did it go for the backers that got to go to the movie set? I think it went wonderfully. Some of you are in chat, Hunter included. I thought the set visit was really cool. I also think it made for, I don't know, it just bred a familiarity, and we were all at a karaoke party together, and now we've seen a lot of those same faces at the premiere in Park City, and it's just been it's just, I think it was a really cool way to make that relationship more real and active because we actually got to hang out. Somebody said, Anthony said, like, I got corpse hands. Just because of how much light is coming in. I missed a good one. Hold on. If Onyx could make a guest appearance in any big budget franchise, what would you imagine it to be? I mean, it's hard because I'm kind of trying to turn Onyx into my own franchise, where I could say I want Onyx to be in Ghostbusters, but I kind of just want to make my own Onyx movie that's like Ghostbusters. Same for like Fright Night. Same for Monster Squad. But I think it would be cool to put Onyx in like a property that nobody cares about, like Rawhead Rex versus Onyx the Fortuitous. I like Rawhead Rex, but it's not precious to me. But like anything that's that precious to me, I actually just want to make my own version of it. Like Onyx and Gremlins, I do have these characters in the third movie that are little helper critters. What did I call them? Some dumb name that was like a rip of Gremlins. But if somebody, I think it'd be fun to have an Onyx cameo in a Gremlins movie or something, like the way Hulk Hogan was. You know what I mean? But I think Onyx could run his own cool franchise, like Jane, Silent Bob, and Scream. Yeah. Jessica started Bizarre States again. Will I be able to join at some point in the future? Yes. We message, and she relaunched right when all of this was coming to a head with us getting into Sundance, and so I haven't been able to be a part of the relaunch, but I love her to death, and I want that to go well, and I want to pop in. Onyx versus Basket Case. Exactly. That's a good example. Gremlings. Jace, thank you for the offer to help with shipping and packing. I do have a crew of friends that are helping, so it's all good. I won't drown in the stress. Gonklins. That's funny. Okay. So I think that's it. I think that was a good stream. It was a little wild at times, but it was also informative. It was also tangential, straightforward, high, low, right in the middle. It was all the things. And I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you backing the film. And we're in a good place. We're in a great place. We're in a great place with the film. And if people can just be patient for a little while longer on the physical rewards, I think everyone's going to be satisfied, and everyone's going to be fulfilled, made whole, and we'll have a movie. We'll have a movie with all our names on it coming out in the not too distant future. All right. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. And thanks for going on this ride with me. Okay.